A Cobra Shelby.
What about it?
That's my dream car.
What was your dream car?
Well, no, still is my dream car.
But why can't you get a Cobra Shelby?
You know how expensive they are?
Actually, I really don't. I drive a minivan.
They're very expensive. With all of the money that I have spent in cancer, from treatments to fertility preservation to just ongoing appointments, eating healthier because I completely changed my diet. Oh my God, maybe after these 10 years, I probably could have afforded a Shelby.
I don't think people understand the impact that money has on cancer. And it's not just, I mean, I had good insurance. Some people don't. I get it. Like, insurance, take that completely out of it. It's your gas to get to your treatments, because now that's daily if you're in radiation. It's parking if your center doesn't pay for parking. It's freaking groceries. I mean, some people are out of work during this, and the Family Leave Act is great. However, it doesn't cover you to get paid. And on top of it, I have 4 kids who eat a lot, and I mean a lot. And I worry about how that is going to impact their college education in the long term, because there was no saving for these past 8 years. It was impossible. I mean, last year alone, I think the total I spent was $10,000. That's out of pocket.
Wow.
That money just doesn't come out of the sky. I don't have a freaking money tree in the backyard.
Right.
And the impact it's immense. It really, truly is. Yeah. And you said eating healthy. I didn't eat so healthy today. Not going to lie. There was some maybe chips on a nightly basis.
That's okay. I did, I had my ice cream.
Yeah.
I had my chocolate.
And I hate calling it alternative treatment, because the complementary stuff that you do to go through cancer so that it makes your body healthier, so that you can process any chemo or any radiation that you're doing, that's not covered under insurance. So even if you have great insurance, that is not part of it. Right. And it's not like I'm preaching to go, do acupuncture and all that, but it benefited me. So I had to pay for that out of pocket.
I did acupuncture.
I swore by it, but people do not realize the financial strain that this truly does impact you. Have you ever added up how much everything would have cost, even if you had insurance, how much it would have costed? I mean, MRIs. Actually, you could have bought me one. I don't even know what a Shelby is, but then I wouldn't be driving a minivan.
You would love it.
I do say I'm too sexy for my minivan.
You totally are.
Right? Sometimes I'm driving in my minivan and I'm singing a song from the 80s and I'm driving looking cute and I realize I'm in a minivan. The other part to it is it depends on what your diagnosis is too.
Yes.
I was talking with a friend earlier and we were talking about kids with cancer, and a lot of their treatment is 40 years old. And their survival rate, especially if a child gets diagnosed with DIPG, is 1%. So people, their parents search for anything out there that can help give them quality and quantity of life, because they want to preserve, they want their child to be here.
Right.
And the cost of that is the cost that they would pay to send their kid to college, which is, it's really hard to think about. You're saving your money to send your kid to college, and then all of a sudden your kid gets cancer, and you're like,
like you said, if you were to add everything up, I mean, how much? I'm afraid to do that. And you had good health insurance. Mm-hmm. I had really good health insurance as well. And I gotta tell you, I still went out. I mean, your fertility is not
That's
covered.
Not covered.
That wasn't
right?
covered. No, I paid out of pocket for that.
Before you go on to that, did you do that on your own, or did your doctor say, "Hey, you're young, you should harvest your eggs"?
This is going back, a few years. So I'm trying to recall to see who told me that. And I want to say it was just in research and reaching out to some kind of organization who then said, hey, you might want to consider
But you
this.
have to pay for that. Insurance isn't going to say, hey, here's $3,000 to keep your eggs.
No, it was more than $3,000.
Get out.
I want to say I spent about between 8 and 10, I think.
Holy
is what I spent.
Crap.
It was a lot. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a lot. There were a lot of changes in my body, and part of it was I found this size of a grapefruit fibroid. Because of that fibroid, my egg harvesting only resulted in I think 2 or 3 eggs the first time, and then I did another one, and then they got another 2. So total, I only had 5 because it was making it difficult for them to be able to extract. Yeah. Thankfully, the doctor that I went to, because he knew that I was doing this due to cancer, they gave me the storage for free.
They give you a storage unit for your ovaries for free because you got cancer. Here's a storage unit for your ovaries. Like, can you imagine you even just said that sentence? How is that even a sentence in our vocabulary right now?
Most people are worried about how are they going to pay for this? How are they going to survive? How are they going to pay for their home? I had to worry about making sure that our business, and I had a really great business partner, that our business that our business was still intact because we had, our team who relied on us.
And that's a financial strain. Like you don't think about that while you're going through cancer, that's a financial strain, but it totally is. And for me, I don't even know what I was doing then. I think I was catering at that point, and I couldn't cater anymore. And granted, I wasn't like, rolling in the dough, but it still was a financial strain on my family. And there's guilt involved in that too. Like, you have a lot of guilt involved around the financial strain part of not being able to go through this.
I know that you came from a very, a big loving family, and I did as well. A lot of people don't have that.
No, they don't have
so
that.
What are they doing?
And that adds to the financial strain too, because, people set up meal trains and things for you, and your family comes over and helps out. And I've had friends that had to pay for cleaning services to come in because they can't clean their house going through this. They can't. And, it's not just about the money and how much money it costs. It's the stress around the money around it. Because maybe you do have the money, maybe that is okay, but it's the stress of it. I remember fighting with the insurance company at one point because I needed an MRI, and they had to check to make sure I really had cancer.
Oh my goodness.
And I had about lost my mind at that point. I was like, do you want me to come down there and take my shirt off and show you that I had cancer? And she was like, ma'am, you don't need to get upset about it. I'm like, upset? I shouldn't be arguing about this.
Right.
But it's a stress.
Yeah.
It is a huge stressor.
Money is a big stressor under any circumstance. Now you add cancer into the mix, it's like an unplanned, it's just insane.
Yeah.
You're saving all this money because you want to go on a vacation, and all of a sudden, hello, cancer's coming and knocking at the door. I'm here, unplanned, unwanted.
Again, not asking for it.
And now you have to spend, whether you have good coverage or not, there's all this money still that you have to spend, whether it's, like you said, new
clothes too. I mean, my body changed. I needed new clothes, so that was an expense. Skincare products because I was burnt during radiation. I mean, it's all these little things that add up. Yeah. You don't realize how much it adds up to.
And then you start getting smart about the things that you've been putting on your body, the things that you've been putting inside your body.
Yeah.
And that also adds up to it. Okay, well now, I want to eat organic because I don't want all these chemicals in my food because I'm already taking all this stuff in. I need to make sure I give my body this, clean environment.
Right.
Okay, great. Now there's also the skin products and the makeup, and oh my God, where does it end?
It doesn't end, and the list goes on, and the financial part of it is really, really difficult. And I do worry about those who don't have not just financial support, but support around them to kind of help them through it. Sure, there's some organizations out there that can help, but it's just, it's never enough.
It's really difficult.
And, I think the other part to it that is important is you don't realize it. That is the biggest thing. Like, you don't realize it until after the fact. You sit back and you're like, crap, how much money did this all just cost me?
Yeah.
And, it's your life, so you got to spend it because you're worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, what's the alternative?
I'm going to go with death.
I don't think anyone wants that as the alternative. I mean, we do everything we can, and we spend so much money we can to stay alive.
Yeah. And I love when people say, well, it's just money. It's just money until you're in it and you're dealing with it.
And you don't have the money.
And yes. I mean, I have friends that have lost their house because they weren't working and they didn't have someone to support them, a spouse or something to support them. They lost their house because when you're out of treatment.
There are some organizations out there that try to help. Mm-hmm. But then there's certain requirements that you need to meet.
So many requirements.
And then there's certain cancers that they're covering. Mm-hmm. So what about I mean, it's not like even.
Breast cancer does get a lot of funding and a lot of money towards this, whereas pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, they really don't. And not to go into it, but I think they see, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer as being not a successful cancer, whereas breast cancer can be successful, which is bull because, 1,300 people die every day of breast cancer. So that's not the truth of it. It's just a marketable cancer.
Right.
Which,
yeah.
Stay tuned. More on that. Coming to you live.